Justin says he recently sold his home. It closed. Following the closing, new owners received a bill from the termite inspection company for the termite inspection that was done prior to closing. Apparently, the termite company did not submit the bill to the closing attorney before the closing occurred. The buyer says the money is owed by the seller who's writing us. The seller says the termite company should eat the fee since the home is already closed, and the seller says, hey, I paid everyone in this email. He says, I paid everyone involved that requested money. So let's start with Brad on this thing. What would you say, Brad, in terms of, was this the termites company's fault for not getting this invoice to the closing attorney?
So I don't know too many companies that invoice through the attorney. I don't know too many that are getting, the wood destroying insect inspection portion going to closing for payment. Now, there are a few instances where the termite treatments, if a treatment is done, sometimes those will go to closing. So maybe we've got that involved. But yeah, I think one of the things, that's a requirement of the pest control professional is to get a timely invoice over to the attorneys. I would agree that's there's some responsibility. However, I also know that, in most of the cases, the termite inspections are paid for by the buyer. And we have been involved in a few cases where sellers are paying for the termite treatment. Sometimes they pay us direct, and a few times we've worked out, negotiated a payment at the settlement or at closing. So yeah, but that's on me to get somebody the bill in order to get paid.
Yeah, and I should point out this was not Team Bug Out that was involved here. So Cora, from a legal perspective, what are your thoughts?
Absolutely. I think at first blush, it seems like an easy answer. However, I will tell you, it's kind of a great question. So let me dive into this a little bit. First question I would ask is, who ordered the service? Whether it's the termite inspection, whether it's a regular inspection, termite treatment, whether it's an appraisal, who ordered it and who received the report? Because whoever gets the report, it's their property to do with what they want. So whoever ordered it, whoever received the report, to me, seems very likely the candidate for payment. So there's one point. Secondly, what type of loan product did the borrower get? Because in some loan products, that is a seller fee to pay for that termite inspection.
As in a VA load is what you're saying.
Well, not any longer.
Oh,
not
really?
Any longer. No.
Correct. But if this was a post-closing issue, so in your fact pattern. But thirdly, I would say something as well is this something that was in the contract for a particular party to pay? Or if it was in an email or communication to the title company and they just missed it. So when I say it was a gray area, it just depends on the facts to see, okay, who missed this? Whose responsibility or who was the intended recipient of this bill? If it was communicated and it just slipped through the cracks with the closing, is it up to that title company and or real estate professionals or other parties to kind of quote unquote make it right? But I'm a big believer that if you provide a service, you ought to be paid for it. So absent an untimely invoice, right? I think that this termite company deserves to be paid for the service that they provided. And just because there was a closing that took place doesn't defeat the fact that they earned that fee. They provided a service. So we just need to ask a few more questions to see who's responsible for that payment.
That's a great point. Justin, I think you need to go back and see who ordered the service and who on the contract it was a requirement to pay for it.